Hi, it's Lee from the Japanese Water Gardens, and I've got Rowan here with me. This week we've been building more of these pipe fitting racks. One of the most, shall I say, frustrating things that happens here at the shop. Wow, got a lot of pipe fittings here. Ball valve or slide valve? There's a lot of people. It shocks me that it's like this. Got a lot of pipe fittings here, don't you think, Rowan?
Yeah, we've got a lot.
I haven't been round and done a video yet about pipe fittings, so great opportunity to do just that. Let's have a look round, Rowan. Straight away, flexible pipe. Now this is something every pond keeper is going to come across. What do you think about flexible pipe, Rowan?
I mean, it's easy to use, it's very convenient, and it's quite cheap. It's good if you're starting with your pond.
Yep. Right. What about some drawbacks with it?
Drawbacks, becomes quite brittle in the sun, weathers quite easily, can split.
Durability might be a little bit of an issue with that. I can think of a major problem with flexible pipe though, Rowan. You join together two pieces of flexible pipe using a hose tail like that, and it goes on the inside of the pipe. So it's going to cause a very severe restriction on the pump, a bottleneck. It'll slow down the flow from your pump and you won't get the maximum potential out of the pump. Flexible pipe though, it is good when you want something that's going to be mobile. Perhaps you're doing a little pump fed filter. You want to be able to pull the pump out. You need the flexibility, not messing around putting any bends on or anything like that. Straight from the pump, straight to the filter, nice and easy. Problem is durability. Over time, it's going to become a bit stiff like me, and it might end up going brittle, so you can have reliability issues with it in the long run. Let's move on. If you're not going to use flexible pipe, what about solvent weld pipe? What kind of fittings would we have with that?
Well, the solvent weld pipe, the fittings go on the outside of the pipes.
Right, so this is a key difference. When you're using solid pipe, you connect two pieces of it together using a sleeve that goes over the outside. That means no bottlenecking. You get more flow through that a lot easier. It's also a lot more durable. These things, you can leave them out in the frost, tough as a pair of old boots. One of the most frustrating things that happens here at the shop, and it happens quite a lot, is when people visit and they're asking about pipe fittings, but we have absolutely no idea what size they have or need. So take a photo, shoot some video, and actually measure it before you come in, and then we'd be able to help a lot more. But I am pleased that you visit anyway, even if you have no idea what size pipe you have. To connect these pipes together, you use glue, solvent weld glue. A few people might be intimidated by this stuff, but it's actually very easy. All that you do to join two pieces of this together is cut your pipe, make sure you get a nice clean cut on it, give it a quick rub with a piece of sandpaper, and go around it with a bit of this glue. Do exactly the same on your fitting, then put the two things together, and within about 30 seconds, it'll have fused it together for you.
Don't forget to use cleaner on the pipes, because it makes sure that you get a better glue around the pipe, so there's no debris or anything to interfere with the seal.
Yep, I'll make sure I mention that. Now, there's different types of solvent weld fittings. The ones that we've got here on this rack are pressure fittings. So these are extremely high quality fittings for an application where they're going to be out perhaps in the sun or in the frost. And these things, as I said, tough as old boots. Then you get this lighter weight stuff. This is like a domestic solvent weld system. This is absolutely usable. A lot of people do use this. It's a little bit more affordable. It's a bit lighter weight. Connect it together exactly the same way. It's just that these fittings are perhaps not as durable as the high pressure ones.
It's important to get a decent saw with a fine tooth blade. It just makes a better cut on the solid pipe.
Yep, good point that. That's a lot better actually than using an axe saw. Just make sure you get one that's got the teeth
it makes
closely
much cleaner
spaced
cut
together. One of the best tips that I can give you is always to bring in a piece of your pipe and actually try it on the fittings. This is something that surprises a lot of people. It shocks me that it's like this. But look at this fitting here. This one says it's 4" and 110 mil. This one says it's 4" and it's 110 mil, but they're not exactly the same 110 mil pipe fits fine into that one. We're not using pressure pipe because the pump is high pressure or anything like that. The reason that you use pressure fittings rather than the domestic ones is really durability and, of course, the sheer range of fittings that you can get in the pressure systems. Rubber fittings. What do you think of these, Rowan?
Well, they're easy as a short-term fix. They could leak and they do deteriorate over time in the weather.
Do they? Well, won't worry too much about that. I mean, there are plenty of people done permanent insulations using these rubber fittings. The benefit of the rubber fitting is that so long as it's roughly right, it'll accommodate any differences. So this one, for instance, that is a 2-inch rubber fitting, and that can be used on 2-inch pressure pipe. It could be used on 50 mil pressure pipe. It would run the 2-inch solvent weld system down there. It's really versatile. All that it does to seal is you tighten up that Jubilee clip and it compresses down. These have got a surprising amount of compression in them, and they can also expand quite a lot as well. These will get you out of a mess when you don't exactly know what the pipe size is. And the other thing that they're really great for is when you've got something that's in an awkward position and you can't actually move the pipe very much. So with this, you could literally squash it on, pull it back in the other direction, and then sort of squiv it around until it fits. So they're great when you've got a tight space. Now, what I definitely would not do with these things, and this goes for that type of pipe as well, the flexible pipe, don't ever bury this. Don't ever put this somewhere where you're not going to be able to get at it, because over time it might actually deteriorate. And if it was leaking and it was in the concrete, it's going to be really awkward to sort out. A very common problem that you can have with this hose and these hose tail fittings is that no matter how much you tighten up these Jubilee clips, the damn thing will just keep leaking. A really simple tip is just wrap a couple of turns of this white tape around first. Then, when you put your pipe on and you tighten up your Jubilee clip, you don't get the leak. Right, bigger stuff. We've got racks and racks of pipe fittings here. 3-inch pipe fittings. That'd be useful if you're going to put a big filter system in, something like an Easy Pod or perhaps one of the smaller Nexuses. 110 mil pipe fittings, perfect for doing bottom drains. There's 2 types of 110 mil pipe that's commonly used. I said 110 mil, but it's actually 4-inch, or possibly it might be 110 because the two things are often used interchangeably. Technically, you would get more flow through a sweat bend rather than a standard 90. But in my opinion, it often makes sense to just go for a bigger pipe size in the first place, or split the output from the pump and have 2 separate returns. Sweat bends are expensive, and going up to a bigger pipe size will allow more water to flow through easier. You can see what a big range of pipe fittings we've got. Let's go around the shop and show you some of them. We've got rubber fittings, 1.5 inch and 2-inch. We've got 2-inch and 1.5-inch pressure fittings. Domestic solvent weld fittings. Over here, union couplings for the pressure pipe fittings to connect a pump or a UV in where you want the capacity to actually take out the component and do service on it without having to resort to getting a hacksaw and cutting up your pipe. Large range of rubber adapters, 3-inch to 4-inch, 2-inch to 4-inch, 3-inch to 2-inch, 1.5 inch, you name it, we've got it all on there. Various 82 mil pipe fittings. 82 mil is also sometimes called 3-inch. It's not exactly the same. I'm going to talk about that in a second. 4-inch, 110 mil fittings and 4-inch fittings, rubbers. The black 110 mil pipe fittings, ever so popular. 4-inch pressure fittings, as well as 110 mil fittings. 45-degree bends, straight connectors, adapters, T-pieces. We've got everything. Got quite a lot of stuff here, don't you think, Rowan?
We've got a hell of a lot of stuff.
We've got lots and lots of things. Now, if you're working on a smaller project, you might find this stuff useful. 1-inch, 3/4-inch pressure fittings, 1.25 inch pressure fittings, various hose tails and systems for connecting together flexible pipe. Even smaller, little valves and things. If you're working on a marine tank, then some of these might be really useful for you. Hose tails. Gosh, we've got a lot of hose tails on that rack there. And this is one of the problems actually with a flexible pipe system. Again, if you put in a pipe onto your pump, you're going to be using an hose tail, which is a bottleneck. It restricts the flow from your pump. Tank connectors, all different, various sizes on there. Ball valve or slide valve. Most people will agree that a ball valve is a better quality fitting than a slide valve. But ball valves can be very expensive, and used properly, there is no reason why slide valves are not more than good enough for the job. Well, there's a lot of information about pipe fittings. You know what? I actually did do a video about them before, and it's called Top Tips for Solvent Weld Pipe Fitting. So it'd definitely be worth having a look at that. Shall we say bye for now then, Rowan, do you think?
I think so.
I am going to have to edit this thing together. It's going to take me a while. Thank you very much. Bye for now from Lee at the Japanese Water Gardens.
Bye.